Your mind never stops moving. Thoughts rise and fall like waves. One worry replaced by another, one desire chasing the next. You try to quiet it, to find peace in distraction, in comfort, in control, but it always slips away. The Stoics understood this storm well. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, wrote not about conquering nations, but about conquering himself. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Those words are still true today. We live in a world that glorifies noise, constant news, endless scrolling, the race to keep up. But the ancient Stoics discovered something timeless. Peace doesn't come from silencing the world. It comes from mastering your own mind within it. This video is not just a list of quotes. It's a path. 10 lessons from the Stoics that will help you calm your mind, regain your strength, and live with clarity no matter what chaos surrounds you. Each quote is a doorway, each reflection, a step towards stillness. So take a deep breath, let the noise fade for a moment, and let's begin. Quote 1, Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, philosopher of restraint, wrote these words not in comfort, but in chaos. He ruled during wars, plagues, and betrayal. Yet his greatest battle was within himself. This line isn't just philosophy. It's a map back to your peace. Every day, the world pulls at your attention. News headlines, deadlines, arguments, traffic, expectations. Most people spend their lives trying to control these things, trying to make the world bend to their will. But the Stoics teach us that control is an illusion. The only true control lies in how we see and respond. When you stop trying to manage what's beyond your reach, your mind stops fighting reality. You begin to conserve energy, clarity, peace. You can't control whether people understand you, but you can control whether you speak with integrity. You can't control the weather, but you can control your attitude toward the rain. You can't control the outcome of every plan, but you can control your effort and your mindset. The Stoics call this the dichotomy of control, the separation between what depends on you and what doesn't. Simple to say, but life-changing when lived. Imagine this moment. You're standing in traffic, late for something important. Your body tenses. Your thoughts start spinning. Why today? Why now? But then you remember, this is not under my control. You take a slow breath. You choose calm over chaos. That moment, that quiet acceptance is strength. To live by this quote is to reclaim your power. Not the power to change the world, but the power to remain unshaken within it. Quote 2, Epictetus, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus was born a slave. He had no freedom, no possessions, no control over his circumstances. And yet, he became one of the freest minds in history. He understood something profound, that the events of life are neutral. It's our reaction that gives them meaning. The same rain can ruin one man's day and nourish another man's field. The same setback can destroy one person and strengthen another. Nothing is inherently good or bad, it's our judgment that makes it so. You've felt this before. Something happens. A failure, a loss, a rejection, and your mind rushes to label it. Terrible, unfair, tragic. But when you step back, you often see that what once seemed unbearable taught you patience, humility, or strength. That's the Stoic way of seeing. To pause before reacting. To let reason step between the event and your emotion. Epictetus taught his students to say, "Wait, let me see what this event requires of me. Not why did this happen to me, but how can I use this?" That small shift from reaction to reflection is the beginning of freedom. Because peace isn't found in a life without problems. It's found in a mind that no longer collapses under them. Every challenge, every insult, every disappointment becomes another opportunity to practice strength, to test your character, to remain calm while the world trembles. This is how Stoics lived, not avoiding the storm, but learning to sail through it. So when life next throws something at you, pause, breathe. Remember Epictetus. It's not the thing itself, It's your reaction that defines your peace. The mind begins to calm when you stop fighting what you cannot control and start mastering how you respond. Quote 3, Seneca, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Seneca knew the mind can be its own tormentor. He wrote these words almost 2,000 years ago, and yet they describe perfectly the modern mind. We worry about things that never happen. We replay the past, rewrite conversations, imagine disasters that don't exist. The mind becomes a movie theater of fear, and we buy a ticket every day. The Stoics saw this clearly. They called it anticipatory anxiety, suffering before the event, twice over, once in imagination and again in reality. Seneca wrote, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." Most of what disturbs us is mental fiction. Your mind creates vivid images, failure, embarrassment, loss, and your body reacts as if it's happening right now. But ask yourself, is this real right now, or just a thought? 9 times out of 10, it's just imagination. Peace begins the moment you stop believing every thought your mind produces. The Stoics didn't tell you to suppress emotion, they told you to see it clearly, to question it, examine it, and decide whether it deserves your energy. Try this. Next time you catch yourself worrying, don't fight it. Observe it. Say to yourself, "This is a story my mind is telling me." When you create that distance, the story loses its power. Seneca's lesson is simple. Reality is rarely as painful as the mind imagines. The storm within you is often made of shadows, and when you face them with awareness, they dissolve in the light. Because the calm you're seeking isn't something you need to find. It's what remains when fear leaves your imagination. Quote 4, Marcus Aurelius, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Marcus Aurelius continues where Seneca left off, teaching us that the world itself doesn't hurt us. Our judgment about the world does. Something happens, a delay, a loss, a harsh word. Immediately, the mind rushes to interpret. This is bad. This shouldn't have happened. And in that judgment, suffering begins. But the event itself, the fact, is neutral. It's just what is. Marcus reminds us, it's not the event but our estimate of it, the story we attach to it, that causes distress. This is where Stoic training lives, in that brief space between event and interpretation. That pause, that single breath before we decide what something means. If you can learn to hold that space, to pause, to see clearly before reacting, you begin to reclaim your peace. Ask yourself, what if this isn't bad? What if it's just different? What if this obstacle is an opportunity in disguise? Marcus often wrote to himself, "The obstacle is the way." To the Stoics, every hardship is raw material, something to work with, not to resent. So when life disturbs you, try this mental shift. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can I grow through this?" By changing your estimate, you change your experience. The pain fades because your perspective matures. You begin to see that peace isn't found in avoiding hard things, but in learning to view them correctly. The Stoics practiced this every day. They meditated on their judgments, questioned their assumptions, and reminded themselves that reality cannot hurt the wise. Only false opinions can. And when your mind learns to rest in truth, nothing external can disturb it for long. Quote 5, Epictetus, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom. We all chase it, the freedom to do what we want, to live how we please, to have no one tell us what to do. But Epictetus reminds us of a deeper truth. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. It comes from not being ruled by your own impulses. How many times do we act on impulse? Say words we regret, chase comfort we don't need, seek validation we don't truly care about. We call it choice, but often it's compulsion. We react instead of respond. We move without direction, pulled by emotion, habit, or fear. The Stoics believed that mastery of the self was the highest form of power. To govern your mind like a wise ruler governs a city, firm but fair, disciplined but compassionate. When anger tries to take the throne, you pause. When fear whispers its stories, you listen but don't obey. When desire burns too brightly, you step back and cool your judgment. That is Stoic freedom. Epictetus himself knew this firsthand. He was born into slavery, his leg permanently injured by a cruel master. Yet even then he said, "You may chain my body, but not my mind," because no one can imprison a person who rules himself. So what does self-mastery look like today? It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. It's noticing the moment you're about to lose your calm and choosing to stay steady instead. It's recognizing when your ego wants to react and answering with humility. Every time you resist that inner chaos, you build strength. Every time you act with intention, you build freedom. And from that freedom, true peace begins. Quote 6, Seneca, "He who is brave is free." Seneca continues the same thought. Freedom is not comfort, it's courage. To be brave is not to feel no fear, it's to act despite it. The Stoics understood that fear is the mind's natural response to uncertainty. But they also knew that fear loses its grip when you face it head-on. The bravest people aren't fearless. They're deeply human. They just refuse to be ruled by what they feel. Seneca wrote that most of our fears are phantoms of the mind. We run from shadows, from imagined futures, imagined pain. And in running, we become prisoners of what doesn't even exist. But the Stoic path is the opposite. Face life as it is. Don't run. Don't hide. Stand there, even when it hurts, and watch how your mind begins to grow stronger. Courage in Stoicism is not grand heroism. It's the quiet decision to do the right thing when it's difficult, to speak truth when it's unpopular, to stay calm when others panic, to begin again after failure. That's bravery. And as Seneca says, he who is brave is free. Because once you stop being controlled by fear, by the need for approval, by the fear of loss, by the anxiety of uncertainty, you are untouchable. That's what freedom really feels like. Not the absence of obstacles, but the absence of fear. Epictetus taught us to rule ourselves. Seneca taught us to face life bravely. Together, they show us the path to true freedom, not found in control, but in courage and discipline. Quote 7, Marcus Aurelius, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Marcus Aurelius wrote this to himself, not to an audience, not to impress anyone, but as a personal reminder. Even as an emperor, surrounded by endless debates about virtue, politics, and morality, he knew the truth. Talk changes nothing. Action changes everything. The Stoics didn't believe in just thinking about philosophy, they believed in living it. They didn't argue endlessly about what's right. They did what was right. Quietly, consistently, without applause. The modern world is full of noise, opinions, outrage, moral grandstanding. But wisdom is quiet. Virtue doesn't post. It practices. It's not in the words we say, but in the choices we make when no one's watching. Marcus is reminding us, stop seeking perfection in theory. Start practicing goodness in reality. You don't need to be flawless. You just need to be intentional. Be patient when you could be harsh. Be kind when you could ignore. Be calm when you could react. That's Stoicism in motion. Philosophy lived, not spoken. When you act with integrity, your mind quiets. The storm of doubt, comparison, and judgment fades. Because you no longer need to prove who you are, you're living it. Marcus didn't just write about virtue. He practiced it through chaos. Leading Rome through war and plague, losing loved ones, being betrayed, and yet, still choosing patience, reason, compassion. The lesson is timeless. Peace comes not from overthinking what goodness means, but from living it one calm action at a time. Quote 8 Epictetus, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things beyond your control." The heart of Stoicism returns here, the art of letting go. Epictetus reminds us that happiness is not something to chase. It's what appears when we stop chasing. Most of our unhappiness comes from trying to control what we simply can't. Other people's opinions, outcomes, timing, the past, the future. The more we cling, the more we suffer. Control feels safe, but it's also a cage. Epictetus calls us to surrender, not as weakness, but as wisdom. To recognize that the universe has its rhythm, and your task is not to command it, but to move in harmony with it. Think of a sailor. He cannot control the wind, but he can adjust his sails. That is enough. The same is true in life. You can't control if someone loves you back, but you can control how sincerely you love. You can't control what tomorrow brings, but you can control how you show up today. You can't control fate, but you can control your focus, your response, your effort, your gratitude. Every time you release what you can't hold, you make space for peace to enter. Happiness, in Stoicism, isn't a thrill or a high. It's the quiet steadiness that comes from alignment, from living within the boundaries of what you can truly guide, and letting the rest fall as it may. When you finally understand this, deeply, not just intellectually, you begin to breathe differently. You stop wrestling with reality. You let the world be as it is, and find your serenity within it. Marcus taught us to be the good we seek. Epictetus taught us to let go of what we can't control. Together, they show that peace is not passive, it's active acceptance. A calm, steady participation in the flow of life. Quote 9, Seneca, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence on the future." Seneca reminds us that life isn't lived in memories or expectations. It happens here, in this breath, this sound, this light, this moment. The mind loves to wander, back into the past, where regret lives, or forward into the future, where anxiety waits. But happiness, the kind that lasts, only lives in the now. We often postpone peace. We say, "When I finish this project, I'll rest. When I have more money, I'll relax. When I finally find love, I'll be happy." But the Stoics saw the trap. Each time you push happiness into the future, you push it out of reach. Seneca wrote that life is long enough if you know how to use it. He meant the present moment, when truly lived, is eternity. Presence isn't laziness, it's clarity. It's the ability to experience fully what's right here, without demanding more, without fearing less. When you stop depending anxiously on what's to come, you discover the richness of what already is. You taste your food. You listen when someone speaks. You notice your breath. You stop racing towards some imagined later. Seneca teaches us that peace is not something you wait for. It's something you notice. It's already here, if you can slow down enough to feel it. Quote 10, Marcus Aurelius, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." These are perhaps the most powerful words Marcus Aurelius ever wrote. They are not morbid. They are liberating. Memento mori, remember that you will die. To the Stoics, this was not about fear. It was about urgency, presence, gratitude. We live as though we'll live forever. We plan endlessly, hold grudges, waste days scrolling through distractions. We assume we'll have later, but Marcus reminds us, you could leave life right now. So why not live as if that were true? When you remember mortality, small things lose their power. The insult, the worry, the ego, the petty competition, they fade. What remains is what truly matters. Kindness, purpose, connection, presence. The Stoics meditated on death not to darken life, but to brighten it, to see how fragile and precious every hour really is. Marcus would begin each day reminding himself, "This could be my last sunrise." And instead of fear, it brought clarity, a renewed focus on what was within his control. His thoughts, his actions, his character. You can try this too. When you wake up, ask, "If today were my last, how would I live? What would you say? What would you let go of? Who would you forgive? What would you finally stop postponing?" Life's impermanence doesn't make it meaningless. It makes it sacred. Because when you remember that every moment could be your last, you stop living carelessly. You start living consciously. This is not an ending. It's a beginning, the moment you realize that true calm comes from being fully alive, fully present, fully aware of how short and beautiful life really is. Seneca taught us to live in the present. Marcus reminded us that the present is fleeting. Together, they give us the ultimate Stoic peace, to love this moment because it is all we ever truly have. Final part, the conclusion and reflection. The Stoics never promised an easy life, only a meaningful one. They taught that peace doesn't come from escaping the storm, but from learning to stand still within it. Every quote you've heard, from Marcus, Seneca, Epictetus, points to the same truth. Your peace begins when you take responsibility for your mind. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you think, how you act, how you respond. And that power quietly changes everything. So carry these lessons gently with you. When anger rises, pause. When life feels heavy, breathe. When the world demands noise, choose silence. This is the Stoic way. Not to suppress emotion, but to master it. Not to flee the world, but to live wisely within it. May your mind be calm, your heart steady, and your soul free.